Yes, I do see it. What's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is Monday, June 22nd, 2020. By the way, sorry about the on the Church with Jesse Lee Peterson blog. I mistitled the church as Church June 22nd. It was June 21st. We go to church on Sundays here. So June 21st, not June 22nd. I left the URL the same, the web address. So in case you happened to notice, very briefly, it was mistitled. But anyways, it is the Hake Report. It's 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles, streaming on 6 different platforms plus audio streams. And you can call in 888-775-3773, as some are already doing. Let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am enjoying this time right now. The times are insane, and I am enjoying it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting to see how insane stuff is right now, because you look at what's going on. They're getting rid of Aunt Jemima, and they're getting rid of Eskimo pies. Did you hear that? They're getting rid of Eskimo pies. And so Lock Your Door, the great meme maker, Lock Your Door says, excuse me, he made a Jeskimo pies. I don't know if you happen to see that. I don't know if we shared it on social media yet, but Jesse's Uncle Jesse now instead of Aunt Jemima, right on. Filling in the void. Bean pies. What a mess. But when I learned that they're getting rid of Eskimo pies, and I'm not a big fan of chocolate and stuff like that, but Eskimo pies, I think, are chocolate-covered ice cream bars, right? With ice cream inside of it. And they're like a popsicle thing, I think. But when I heard that they got rid of Eskimo pies, you know what Satan told me? Like, you know, my thoughts told me? I thought, it's over. You know, like over for America. Because if we're that weak and petty and pathetic and kiss up, that AC feels good, that we're going to get rid of Eskimo pies, not to mention Aunt Jemima and all this other stuff, all this kissing up to blacks, that it's over for America is what I thought. But, you know, it's not really over for America, because these are warnings, and they're grave warnings. Yes, even these silly little examples, petty things that really don't matter, but the fact that they're changing them indicates that somebody thinks that they matter. And they do matter when you're changing something. When you're changing something, that means that you're either doing right or you're doing wrong. Because in life, each person should stay in the position that they're in. You know, let's say you're a slave, if you can get your freedom, do so, but be content, right? But you want to get rid of Eskimo pies? Pathetic. So I was thinking, oh, it's over, but it's not over. We have Trump in office, and a lot of you guys are disappointed in Trump. I don't think that it's totally necessary to be disappointed. Sometimes you might jump to conclusions. You might panic. If you look closely at him with a sober mind, he's pretty solid. There are issues for sure. I don't support kissing up to the gays. I don't support letting the blacks out of prison, the black criminals, or the criminals in general, out of prisons. I don't support the kissing up to political correctness that happens. Trump is the least worst offender, I would say, in the government. But Be clear-headed, right, in the face of evil. Regarding this NASCAR controversy, for example, and then I will get to calls. I just want to talk a little bit about what's going on. You heard about this NASCAR controversy. I've talked about it before, how they're banning the Confederate flag. And this is so interesting because this is all in response to supposedly the needle that broke the camel's back, right? The last bit of hay, the straw that, not the needle, the straw that broke the camel's back. That they're getting rid of the Confederate flags. They are blaming white people. They're calling it racial violence, in which George Floyd, the black drug-using criminal who resisted arrest, that's criminal, well, allegedly, right? It was on video. He fell down appearingly on purpose, but maybe he was just having a heart attack, so I got to cut him a little slack, right? But he got himself killed, and the cops seemingly had a hand in it because they were supposed to be arresting him. They're not supposed to not be arresting him. So they're supposed to be arresting him, suspected of crimes, and you can't just let criminals get away. And one guy got in his neck. It didn't look right, and he ended up dying, and we don't know if the knee on the neck was the cause or a contributing factor. I guess, I don't know, whatever. But people are acting like, oh, people are overreacting to it, and they're calling it racial violence. There are Christian females, of course, right? Calling it racial violence. Police are hurting blacks. There's no evidence that it was racially motivated at all. Most of the interracial crimes are committed by blacks against whites by far. You know, there is like a race war between the blacks and the browns, the Hispanics, especially like the Mexicans and the Salvadorians. Salvadorians are MS-13, right? MS-13 is a Salvadorian American gang, right? I think it was started in Los Angeles in a prison. But anyways, blacks are the primary perpetrators of hatred against whites. Even the non-criminals, they hate whites. They just do. And the whites are so pathetic and must be full of hate themselves that we're scared, don't speak up, kiss up, and all that madness, right? And then some of them react, like they call the conservatives, right, reactionary, I think. I've heard that word before. With this NASCAR controversy, NASCAR kissing up to the blacks, wanting to ban the Confederate flags, which is a symbol of the South, the beautiful South, beautiful people, the best people in the country in some cases. Although I'm starting to suspect that the Southerners are weak, just like the rest of Americans, for the most part. Maybe there are some strong Southerners of both conscience and character, of strength of character, but some of them are kind of weak, and that's why I'm so happy that there are Christians such as Jesse Lee Peterson encouraging men to stand up and wake up. That's nice. I support the Confederate flag. I support the South. I don't support. There is this picture of a Confederate flag with a happy face on it that I saw at this NASCAR, outside this NASCAR event that was supposed to take place on Sunday. And it's a photograph of this truck with the beautiful Confederate flag, but it's marred by a happy face on it in the middle. Yellow happy face. And it says, if this flag offends you, up top, on bottom of the flag, it says, then it made my day. That's not the right attitude to have. You're not supposed to be happy about offending people. I mean, you're not supposed to be happy to offend people, trying to offend people. You're supposed to be what's right, regardless of whether it offends people. But you're not supposed to be provoked into provoking others, because that's what miserable people do. Try to make each other angry. And if you try to make somebody angry, whether if it's with facts or if it's with lies, it's still evil to try to react like that. And, you know, I can definitely relate to the temptation of, oh, they're attacking the Confederate flag. Let me wear the Confederate flag. But it's a good thing to do because the Confederate flag is a beautiful flag. And this drama, melodrama about slavery, this self-righteous judgment against slave owners and slavery defenders and all that madness, it's so pathetic. Did you see that clip, that picture of the Confederate flag with the happy face? I think it's out on the outside folder. It's so silly that they're calling it racist too. This is the picture of the flag outside Talladega Super Speedway. I was never really into NASCAR, but I respect the people, right? And they seem like decent people, but this guy is flying a flag that says, "If this flag offends you, it made my day." Happy face. But that's to me, that's a bit silly. But did you hear about this? And I don't have pics, so I don't know if it happened or not. Right? They say pics or it didn't happen. The one so-called black driver. Oh, I think in the extras folder there's a picture of this guy with his hand over his heart. That's nice. Bubba Wallace. He's the one black driver for NASCAR, full-time driver, right? There's some other black drivers, I guess, but they're not full-time. And you look at him, he doesn't look that black. He looks lighter than Joel. And he's more white than Joel. His culture is more white. You hear him talk? Yeah, he's like Jeremiah. He looks like could be related to Bill. But anyways, he is part black, and in 2017 his pinned tweet is a pinned tweet from 2017 talking about, "I'm the black driver. You're going to be hearing about me for years." And sure enough, we're hearing about him. He's apparently into his black side, his blackness, which is shallow, especially on the part of standing for evil, which is Black Lives Matter, wearing "I Can't Breathe" t-shirts. But that was from June 12th or 14th. That picture of him where he's hand over his heart looks like he's standing for the flag salute, or the national anthem. That's nice. I think he's a nice guy. I've played clips of him talking to Don Lemon, who's a disgusting guy who's really come out of the closet as pure evil, America-hating, white-hating guy. Don Lemon, that is, CNN host, hates Trump, calls Trump racist, as if that's meaningful. But Bubba Wallace, he claims that there was a noose found in his garage over in Talladega Speedway, right? I guess his number is 43, right? I guess these racers have a number assigned to them. He's number 43. And there was supposedly a noose. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any pics. And I don't really think that it's good for him not to post a pic, right? I can understand, you don't want it to go viral or copycat crime or something like that, I guess. But I don't know what to believe. I don't think of it as, I don't think of this guy as a dishonest person. I just think of him as a sincere, useful idiot, right? Who are subject to lying. They are subject to lying. But he just doesn't seem like he would pull that move. When I say that move, I'm referring to another name that's trending this morning. It was trending on Twitter this morning. Jussie Smollett. Jesse Lee Peterson calls him Juicy Smollett, who's a homosexual actor, I think, or bisexual actor, who played in Empire. Empire being a black show about drug empire? I don't know. Some kind of degenerate show. And he plays a homosexual in it, too. But this guy, Bubba Wallace, doesn't seem like the type to lie. But maybe. I don't think he's LGBT like Jussie is. Oh, yeah. It's about music? Oh, Music Empire. My mistake. I profiled them since they're black. I thought it was drugs. Anyways. Gays, homosexuals? There was this white gay guy who, after the election of President Trump, right? After the 2016 election, or right around that time, he painted like the N-word on his church, or gays go to hell or something like this. Gay guy, a gay like organ player, homosexual guy. fake, these fake liberal Christians. He vandalized his own church and then pretended like it was a hate crime. And there are endless examples. I say endless, but there are tons of examples of fake so-called hate crimes, right? Hate crime being the N-word or the swastika, which is a Nazi sign, painted on a building, right? Excuse me, but liberals are the ones who are vandalizing property, not conservatives. Conservatives don't do that for the most part, right? But gay, homosexuals, and blacks, especially blacks in college, seem like the primary perpetrators, or prominent perpetrators of these hate crime hoaxes. They paint the N-word, they hang in news. Oh, it turns out a black person did it. I remember I told you guys this story of this person, this TED talker, a liberal principal, white, I think he's white, who started teaching at this school where it's mostly Hispanic and black. And these kids, 15, 16-year-olds, 14, high school, I guess, maybe junior high as well. I don't know, younger. But they spread a bunch of KKK flyers around the campus and said, "What are you going to do about this?" to the principal. They did an investigation, and sure enough, it was a black. It was like, oh no, it might have been a Hispanic girl who did it, or the kids colluded to do this. I could say kids, I mean like young people. It's kind of a misnomer to call these people kids, these evil people who've been brainwashed. And what happened? The principal did not punish them. And he caved and bowed to them and started instituting like so-called anti-racist policies. He rewarded them, talked with them. It's so phony. And it basically encourages more evil, rewards evil. By the way, this Black Power fist is a hate symbol, no different from that, the Nazi salute. Well, I say it's no different. It's akin to it. It's evil, just like if one is evil, the other's evil. Put it that way. It's commie reminiscent, by the way. You see like the socialist fist all the time? Socialist fist, black fist, same thing. They're using you guys who like approve of that thing. Just FYI, Christians, liberal Christians, are promoting it. By the way, in terms of this vandalism thing, you see all these statues being torn down seemingly at the blessing, and I say seemingly, basically I'm playing dumb, at the blessing of the Democrats in charge, the mayors, police chiefs, governors. They support it. Thank God Trump does not. He spoke at the rally about it, and he spoke about Bill de Blasio saying that New York City supports takedown of Theodore Roosevelt statue somewhere in New York City. I think it's outside of some natural history museum or something. Teddy Roosevelt was a big guy about conservationism, right? Something like that. Kind of like Ted Nugent. Although I don't know if Roosevelt was a good guy or a bad guy or mixed. But the alt-right groups, which is like, some of them are conservative, some of them are socialist, but they identify with the whiteness to an extent, and Western civilization and stuff. I remember an alt-right group, they took pictures of this. They went out and cleaned up trash at a park with a pond and lake or whatever. They voluntarily picked up trash. They weren't DUI, drunk driving convicts. They were voluntarily cleaning up their area, their neighborhood. Well, actually, a neighborhood that was trashed, or a park that was trashed presumably by POCs, the people of color. A lot of those people litter. And so they're not vandals, they clean up vandalism. Including the liberal whites clean up vandalism too. But anyways, with all this madness, I really support the notion that we should be cool-headed, clear-headed. There's lots of talk right now and there's lots of instances of people losing their friends, fake friends, right? And being upset about betrayal. There's a lot of betrayal going on in these emotional times. We're supposed to be above it, and as whether we're Christians or conservatives or trying to be sane people, right? I was going to say whites, but there's a lot of POCs who listen to my show and Jesse's show who want to be for what's right and for sanity. When you're censored, for example, by social media or by like us, don't be mad. When you're timed out or banned, I understand the temptation to be like, this is injustice and like try to retaliate in some way. Don't wish evil on somebody in retaliation for evil or perceived evil. I loved, by the way, I'm a producer for Church of Jesse Lee Peterson, meaning I help make sure it goes out online, right? I loved his answer to last week's biblical question about would you lay down your life for your enemy? And he referenced the Apostle Paul. Go back and listen to the church podcast. It is available on audio podcast or catch it on YouTube. I put timestamps in the YouTube video. Nice. I'm copying Nicolas, the producer for the Jesse Lee Peterson show, about the Apostle Paul willing to lay down his life for the people of Israel who wanted to kill him. Isn't that nice? I'm going to talk about more of this madness about these 25 essential black voices that this far left, I call it far left, Relevant magazine. I referenced this yesterday and Sunday on my show. There are these Christians that are promoting radical blacks, including Alicia Garza, or maybe it's Alicia Garza, who is one of the three, actually, let me not slander her. I don't know if she's a moral person or not. Well, I know she's not a moral person, but I don't know if she's one of the lesbians. Somebody Google Alicia Garza for me. And because I don't want to call her a lesbian if she's not a lesbian. But I think that she was one of those three friends, and she never responded to my invites to come on the Jesse Lee Peterson show after her friend, I think it's her friend, Patrice Cullors, who is a bisexual or lesbian or queer, whatever, black woman, Black Lives Matter founder, so-called. That's Alicia Garza, with all these tattoos. Is she part Indian or something? Because, like, her tattoos are kind of reminiscent of, especially the ones on the arms. Is she one of those LGBT people? Is she promoting herself as that? It should be, if she's promoting herself as that, I don't want to try to dig and speculate. That's nasty. I prefer not to know if somebody wants to keep it hidden, right? Because it's shameful to be that. But, crazy. This is one of the people that the liberal Christians are promoting as somebody to listen to. Essential black voices regarding racial justice. We should submit Jesse Lee Peterson as an essential voice. I do read this chat was nothing real. I just, not consistently, not everything. I miss most of it. You guys type too fast for me. Anyways, let me get to Richard in North Carolina, and then I'll get to more of this mess. Richard,
hey,
nice to hear from you.
Hey, I saw the news thing with Bubba, and I think he's doing a Jussie Smollett, whatever. I can't talk.
I say let's not speculate. Let's just wait and see.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if he's got any tangible evidence. And you know, the security tape. There's got to be security footage for those cars.
Maybe, but
are you kidding me?
But honestly, who cares? I don't care. Somebody may. I mean, you wouldn't put it past somebody evil, whether it's a hoax or not, to do something like that. Because
this is because they're mad at him because he said something and they're pissed because of the Confederate flag.
Yeah,
not allowed anymore. They might have done
he
that.
supported the takedown of the Confederate flag. He wore this "I Can't Breathe" and Black Lives Matter shirt. He didn't put his hand over his heart for the national anthem. One point.
It'd be funny. It'd be funny if it was a black person that loved the Confederate flag that did it. Wouldn't that be ironic?
Yeah, I guess. But it's such a nothing incident, right? There are instances all the time. People experience instances of black on white hostility all the time.
Can I bridge into what happened to me today?
Yeah.
Like that, because I'm like that happened. So I was walking down I got a video of the majority of this. I was walking down my road, and these guys are working in the road. Obviously, they're working construction. It's a small road. It goes from 45 to 35 because it goes to a residential zone with the kids, preschool.
Yeah.
Kids, and a church. And so the guy, instead of slowing down, he went up the speed of his motorcycle. And I was telling him to slow down because he had three choices. He would flip his motorcycle, hit the guys, or hit me on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And he pulls off his helmet, and it's a black guy. And I said, I'm going to film you, and I said, I'm going to shut down right now. This is not about race. This is about you being a jerk.
Uh-huh.
You know that? I shut him down. And you could tell that look on his face.
He was about to bring that up?
Mad because I shut him down. You know that?
Yeah.
And I said, and he started to argue with me, and I said, I got witnesses, and the cops can be here in 5 minutes, and they pull you over too, and they don't care about the way you look. They care about how reckless you're being around a place where kids are. A kid could have wandered out in the street, and he would have hit him.
Right.
And he said he was slowing down.
He
wasn't slowing down.
My suspicion about there's this thing that they call driving while black. I bet you a lot of the time they're speeding or, doing something wrong.
Oh, they're being reckless. They're sometimes they're...
I reference this stat a lot because I read it in a New York Post from John R. Lott after the Ferguson hoax of a DOJ report came out, pretending that there was disproportionate police oppression of black people. Stupid, right? He pointed out that compared to their share of car owners, blacks are like, I don't remember if it's twice as likely, but they're more likely to die in car accidents compared to their share of car owners. And they're more likely to have prior violations when there is a fatality. So there is a disproportionate black reckless driving situation going on that is not acknowledged. It's not even common knowledge. I mean, maybe it is because...
Maybe if their heroes and their culture wasn't so propagated on drugs, violence, and other negative things and more focused on spiritual things.
Yeah.
Maybe they'd be and have a complete family unit. Let me tell you something. I have seen many videos of blacks going up and saying, and during a Democrat speaking, said, "I'm not your enter anymore. I'm getting off your plantation."
Yeah.
And leave. And I have to, I stand up and I applaud almost when I hear that. That's someone that woke up because the Democrats.
Not necessarily, man. A lot of people. There's a whole lot of so-called black conservatives who still believe in the racism thing. They still hate whites, and they literally think Jesse Lee Peterson has said this multiple times, and I didn't understand it. I didn't believe him. He said, and it's true. I've heard it out of the horse's mouth. The horse being my recent guest, Jeff Charles, that blacks should be in both parties because then there's competition. No, the Democrats stand for evil. There should be nobody standing with the Democrats except for the people who are evil. And so the blacks kind of prove that point.
One last thing. I heard that you say you don't like Tim Scott. I want to hear your rationalization behind not liking Tim Scott.
Okay. It's wrong for me not to like him, right? I should love all people, right? Here's my reason. Here's my reason why I am very suspicious and leery and do not support in general Tim Scott. In 2016, amid all this fake racial madness, right? The fake black victimhood, he did a speech talking about, I've been stopped such and such many times.
I heard that. Yeah,
driving while black. He fed into that fake myth.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yep, and he called Trump's. Somebody check this for me. Google Tim Scott, Trump, go back. The squad. When Trump tweeted about the squad, didn't
House
Tim
lady?
Scott react badly to that? I know that there were stupid fake Republicans, rhinos, who called that racist when Trump said these so-called Democrat congresswomen of color, right? They think that they would be a better leader. Why don't they go back to their country and be leaders there and show us how it's done and then come back and show us? But they're fake.
Let me tell you something, Hake, and I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to contradict you. I hate to tell you that. That's politics. I don't agree with what he said, but I can see how he saves his ass, and that's not right. He shouldn't do that, but he has to, and that's isn't that horrible that he might have to feel like he has to do that to save face. Because, South Carolina is very contentious.
Man, I guess there's something to be said for playing the game. I would really respect somebody who doesn't, and that's why I like Trump not apologizing, right?
Like Trump. Yeah.
Because I think if these people had courage, they would find support where they didn't expect.
You ever see that Trump video when the person says, "Oh, you mean Pocahontas?" and somebody says, "Oh, that's offensive." Oh, real Pocahontas. I love that. He's the ultimate troll. You know that?
Yeah.
But
anyways, man,
I gotta look at more into Tim because honestly, South Carolina and North Carolina are very contentious, and it's sad.
Very what
happens?
Very what?
It's very nasty and dirty. The Carolinas have a lot of infighting. Both parties. Well, more Republican than Democrats.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say one thing, Hank. I don't like Richard Burr, but let me tell you something. I heard someone say we got to get rid of him, and he's not up for election yet. And I'm just thinking that's a great way to keep our Democratic governor in there because the Democrats will use that as a rallying point to pump up the base. And then we'll get a Democratic U.S. senator. And then we'll keep Roy Cooper for another 4 years. I told her to shut up. And she blocked me because I hate when
you're talking about Senator Richard Burr, Republican from North Carolina.
I don't like him, but if they start crap with him, they try to get him out when he says he's already going to leave in 2025 when his term's up.
Yeah,
you don't need that kind of stuff because in North Carolina we're mostly a purple state, but we're a red state right now, but we're bouncing on purple. And you can't have that kind of infighting. And I hate when out-of-state people try to get involved in our politics. It's very, very different in North Carolina. It's way different, and you can't say that. And I can't believe that person's a conservative. Her name is Katie Brooks. I don't like her.
This is a public figure?
She works for Just Judicial Watch, and I'm just wondering how I called her out on that, and that's when she blocked me.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. I wonder if they know they've got a woman like there that wants to start infighting.
Yeah.
You know that, and I don't like the infighting because that's only going to strengthen the Democrats and weaken the Republicans.
Maybe so, man. Well, thanks for the tip, Richard.
Yeah, sure.
I'll keep it in mind.
Right.
Take care, man. All right.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, man. I'm going to read the super chats. There's a ton of them. Appreciate the support. But let me first, I just touched on so-called driving while black. And I think that Joe from Phoenix, Arizona, would like to talk with me about this issue. Joe, nice to hear from you. What's up?
Yeah, hey, guys, I told you before, I've never had any alcohol in my life, but I've been pulled over 3 times, on suspicion of drunk driving. And all 3 times let go with no tickets because I wasn't. So driving while black is a real thing.
Based on you being pulled over 3 times on suspicion of drunk driving, you think that driving while black is a real thing? The driving while black being the myth that blacks are...
A nice car in a nice neighborhood, and they were suspicious.
What time of day was this?
What's that?
What time of day were these situations?
2 were at night. One was kind of getting towards night.
Yeah. Interesting.
Why? Why does time of day matter?
Oh, because, people are more likely to get pulled over for suspected drunk driving at night.
Well, that's probably true, but again.
Yeah.
And don't try to say that I was speeding or bad driving, because again, I was let go all 3 times with no tickets, no nothing.
Right on. Were you speeding?
No, I was not.
Not at all?
Not at all.
And you don't swerve or anything?
If I did, I would have got tickets. I got no tickets.
No, swerving doesn't necessarily get you a ticket.
Sure it was, but I mean, if it's unsafe driving, sure it will.
Right, but if it's looks a little leery, he really said, oh man, I'm getting low on my battery. They really said, oh, you're suspected of drunk driving. Did they make you do a sobriety test or anything?
You know, get out and walk the line and touch your finger to your nose and all that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Interesting. Well, man, what's the harm other than a little bit of inconvenience?
The harm was, James, that I should never have been subjected to that. Now, I kept my cool and complied, and it all worked out fine. But it was, I shouldn't have to go through that. Period.
Why not? If they suspect it.
Suspect what?
They suspected that you were drunk driving.
But they didn't. That was just a pretense to pull me over, because again, they saw a black guy in a nice car.
And that's what they said? Or is that what they said, or are you profiling them?
They were profiling me.
No, but you're profiling them back, because you don't know that they said, oh, this is a black guy in a nice car in a nice neighborhood. Is there a history in that area of drunk driving?
Not that I'm aware of now. So see, you're trying to find some justification for them, and it's just not the case.
I know, but you're trying to assume. You're trying to assume that just because you're black, they pulled you over.
Me tickets, but no, they didn't, because they had nothing on me.
But I know, that's great. I'm glad for you. But you're saying it should never have happened, and this is driving while black and all that madness. And people like you don't seem to acknowledge that blacks are the ones committing the crimes and all that stuff like that. And you want to attack the police for it rather than attacking the
crime stats all the time. And you've heard me say that. Yes, it's disproportionate. So don't say people like me. You're just lying there, James.
No, I'm not. No, because you do downplay that, and you say, "Oh,
I don't downplay it at all. I always can condemn it and say it's wrong."
Right.
But I do condemn you exaggerating it and trying to apply it to most black people.
I do not exaggerate.
Out and out lie. You do exaggerate. 0.015% is not most black people. It's 0.015%.
I've never said it's most black people. Your beef is with Jussie, and you should call Jussie about it, but you're a coward.
I've heard you say that.
No, I've never said that. I've said it's way out of proportion. I've never said most black people are committing violent crimes and they're caught with it and stupid. Now you're lying.
0.015% out of proportion, James. It's not.
It is way out of proportion, Joe. See, now you are downplaying
or that 0.015%, yes, but not most black people, period.
It doesn't matter, Joe. You are blaming the cops for something that you don't even know. You're assuming that since they're cops and you're a black man and you were pulled over and you got off, that they, quote unquote, profiled you when you don't know what their mindset was.
No other reason possible, and you're trying to.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
And you don't know that either. You don't know that either.
Exactly. You're the one making the claim.
Yes, because I'm the one living the life, and you're not.
You're not living that life. Those things happened in the past.
It happened to me
3 times. Oh dear me. That's pathetic.
Not pathetic at all.
It's especially pathetic.
You have no frame of reference because it never happened to you.
I've been pulled over lots of times. A few times. Who cares, Joe? You're being pathetic. And you're feeding fake black victimhood when you should be on the side of Jussie. You should be on his side, right? You pretend like you're for what's right, but then you judge Jussie when he's the one trying to help the problem, help the situation.
Jussie's not helping anything.
Yes, he is.
And I'm not calling you show. I'm calling you your show.
I know, but you brought up something Jussie said and attributed it to me.
Because you parrot it like a
I do not parrot it. You parrot stats because you're not about truth.
James, facts are stubborn things and they matter.
This is so boring, man. This is so mind-numbingly shallow.
And you know
it's so shallow.
It's reality, James.
No, reality is blacks hate
just like you
whites.
have no clue that you weren't even wearing the real Confederate flag. You have no clue.
I said that was the Confederate battle flag, and who cares? That's such a dumb egghead fine point.
It's reality. It's fact again.
No, it's not reality. You think that it's. Oh my gosh, this guy is so
no idea
insane.
what the Confederate
This is
flag
the same guy, guys. He's the same
What is
guy
the
who
Confederate
thinks.
flag, James? What
Hold
is
on,
it?
hold on. I'm putting you on hold. This is the same guy who thinks that he would be chattel and not considered human today if the South had won, as if he knows what would have happened between 1865 or whenever the South imaginarily might have won and today. Like, oh, slavery would still be going on. He would have been born mixed race black like he is, and that would have made him a slave and all this madness. He thinks that that's real. He thinks that that's facts. I don't know, that's crazy. And I think that this is supposed to be a black conservative, I think. Joe, are you a conservative?
Putting me on hold. Yes, I'm conservative.
I put you on hold because you were talking over me. You see?
Yeah, because
I told you.
Spouting off BS as usual.
I told you that this is one of those fake black conservatives. So don't be celebrating every time that some black gets off the Democrat plantation because he's still a hateful person.
You're the one spewing hate and false lies and denigration and stereotypes, not me.
Whatever, man. You're the one who said that driving while black is a real thing because I was pulled over 3 times and got off 3 times. Anyways, man.
Got off. There's nothing to get off. It's just reality, James.
Reality also is that there's a disproportionate. Hold on.
You cannot stand. It's sad, James. You're a sad human being.
Okay. It is also reality that blacks are disproportionate, reckless drivers. I don't know about you, and I don't know about your story.
According to what? To what stat again was
The
that?
National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, something like that. Look it up.
Yeah, you don't even know it, but
I don't have to know it. You're the intellectual who has to challenge every fact as though you're really into the truth. You're not into the truth. You're into piddly, cherry-picked facts in order to hate Jussie, in order to hate me.
What you were doing just last week, piddly, cherry-picked facts that you believe support your narrative, when in reality it really doesn't.
What narrative is that? That people hate the South? That people are scapegoating whites?
Scapegoating whites. How so? Where? When? How?
All over the country. They're talking about police violence when blacks are resisting arrest. Do you support this madness going on right now? Are you even paying attention?
What madness are you talking about?
The madness over the George Floyd riots and protests. And all this overreaction, banning Eskimo pies and Aunt Jemima.
I don't support violence or rioting, no.
Do you support this overreaction about Aunt Jemima? Do you support the protests? How about Black Lives Matter protests?
So you believe George Floyd should have died?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Do you support the insane protests?
Should not kneel on a person's neck for 8 minutes, James. That should be an easy answer for you.
No, because I don't know that caused the death. You're speculating.
No, we have the autopsy results. It's clear.
The autopsy results shows a heart attack.
Does not. It shows his neck was crushed to the point where he couldn't breathe.
What? It does not show that.
It does indeed.
I don't think that that's true. Somebody look it up. Somebody look it up. His neck was crushed to the point that he couldn't breathe.
Report.
No, man. Maybe you're talking about the family. You're talking about. Hold on. You might be talking about the family. I'm a little surprised at you to repeat this type of nonsense. But the family so-called guy who investigated Michael Brown's autopsy too, and he investigated this one too, he said that there was no evidence left on the body because after the compression came off, he said he based his opinion on the video. And it might be a valid opinion, but there was no evidence that his neck had been crushed to where he couldn't breathe. You could see it doesn't look right. You can see these guys on top of him. He is having a heart attack or whatever he was having. But anyways, man,
you think the cops were 100% correct there? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's really mind-numbingly stupid for you to pretend that that's my argument. You are a straw manner.
Oh my God, straw man is your middle name. Are you kidding me?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's all you and Jussie do is create straw man. But anyway, I'm done with this for today.
It's ridiculous.
Those are the facts. Stop lying and stop being pathetic.
Okay. Back at you. Take care. He hung up. Anyways, I I'm going to get to my favorite caller and to Louie and Matthew and the rest of the callers. I just, I do enjoy talking with Joe, but he's so, I don't know if it's dishonest or what. But intellectuals do have a hard time, and he is an intellectual. Aznador is hosting the show. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And D-Wise resubbed. Aznador gifted 5 subscriptions to Fan of the Ladies, Comfortable Man, Mr. Nargis, Peter from Periscope, Groiper Bear, right on. Aznador gave a diamond and said, I'm skeptical about any Eskimos complaining. Yeah. Aznador gave another diamond. I'm thinking Bubba Wallace faked the noose thing. I'm not into speculation. Let's wait and see what happened. But, there's really no proof of anything. Who cares? But anyways, Jesse Lee Peterson hosting. Thank you. Aznador says, Bubba Smollett. Yeah. His whole stance is based on a fake idea. And it's a shame that he falls into this because he looks like he was raised kind of white. You listen to him talk. He talks white, like a white Southerner. Maybe that's what fools me into thinking that he seems like a nice guy. Peter from Periscope says, food coloring for Cool Whip because it's too white. Yeah, Mo better stand up. Recipe to destroy Eskimo pie. 1, wait for global pandemic. 2, wait for people/rioters to have no work. 3, no life, right? Nothing else to do but to ban Eskimo pies. 3, orchestrate strategic global civil disorder. 4, seize power. No crisis can go to waste. Interesting. Yeah, thank you for the diamonds. Joel says, after Juicy, I doubt anyone would fake anything. Oh, you'd be surprised, though. Satan works in shocking ways. Anyways, Lisa Lou says, if God promotes you, he'll keep you there. Right. But it also says, the Bible says, carry out or something, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it's God who works in you to will and to act according to his good purpose. So don't be full of pride thinking, oh, I'm strong spiritually, and then get cocky, right? Aznador says, Teddy Roosevelt was awesome. Okay. Unlike isn't his relative Franklin Delano Roosevelt? Wasn't he a scumbag? I think he was. But Teddy, all right. Mo Betta Stand Up says, Clown World flipped the meaning of to conserve. Conservation, conservative, upon you all. Interesting. Lin Yan Chin says, distraction is the root of all failure. Interesting. Distracted driving. Am I still? Okay. I think my iPad battery just died. I wasn't paying attention. Lin Yan Chin gave a diamond and said, emotion is the nature of all distraction. Ah, interesting. Thank you. Lin Yan Chin says, man must master his mind like Goku in Dragon Ball. And he left off the Z. Lin Yan Chin gave a diamond. Or like Jesus in his warrior's pilgrimage journey. And he says, Jesus was at war with evil from childhood onward. Yeah. Lin Yan Chin gave a diamond and said, Jesus trained intensely for mastery over his mind. Interesting. I don't know how he knows all this stuff. Aznador says, driving 20 miles per hour over the speed limit while black. Noah's Ark, one of the people who promoted this driving while black nonsense was the disgusting, I think she might pretend like she's a Christian too, or at least fake Christians support her, liberals. Michelle Alexander, author of something like The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness, right? And she promotes fake black victimhood. She was working for the ACLU, the Anti-American so-called Civil Liberties Union, which promotes everything evil, abortion, illegal aliens staying here. And she worked in the driving while black division up in, I think she was from Northern California or something. Her husband, I think, worked for Obama, another lying black lawyer. Noah's Arkansas says, Hake, you have enough super chats till a second hour. I'm still thinking White History Month. That's coming up soon. Mo Betta Stand Up says, caller sounds talking while drunk right now. Well, he's not drunk. He doesn't drink, to my knowledge. I believe him on that. But he does promote fake black victimhood. He had a stroke because he was stressed from being all things to all people. That's Joe from Phoenix. And he's recovering, I think. He's working on. He seems like a pretty disciplined guy. I think I heard him say that he works with the Urban League or something and works with kids and stuff like that, trying to promote being responsible, right? But he still has this underlying hatred of just plain real truth and manhood. That's why he hates Jussie. Anyways, so no, he's not drunk. Lin Yun Chin says cops got the melanin detectors in their scanners. Mo Betta Stand Up says caller more pharma pilled than Alicia Keys. No, man. Like I said, it's the stroke that's what has him talking like that. Lin Yun Chin says Joe Kenyon is emotionally constipated from mama. Yeah, I try to tell him. I mean, he's not going to listen to me, right? But not handling stress well, and everybody can relate. A lot of people, right? Is underlying anger over the stress, as Nick pointed out. But he doesn't listen to the deep, simple truth. He calls it obvious crap when like Jesse Lee Peterson makes these great points. This obvious crap is something that you should live. But he lives some stuff, but yeah. Joe said false lies. So he means truth? Says Lin Yun Chin. Oh man, there's so many super chats. Azador says the family autopsy was done with no data. Yeah. He based it on the video. Lin Yun Chin said, fix that back then. Break dance with Joel and Nick. Does Nick break dance? Does Joel break dance? Mo Betta Stand Up says stroke equals political trajectory of USA and bankers now. Yeah, we're headed for problems. I'm going to read the YouTube super chats after, oh my gosh, what the heck? So many calls. Okay, so hang tight, Tabor, Jib Jab, Hot Computer Smell, SD, Rocket Man, Lord Nikon, Chris Hawk, A. Owens, Adam Clark, all you guys, hang tight. I'm going to read your super chats at the end, even if I have to go a little over. Joel is going to, he won't cut me off. Anyways, let me get to my favorite caller, Maze in Dayton, Ohio. What's up, Maze? How are you?
Hello, James.
Hey.
I keep hearing, what's a heifer?
A heifer is a female cow, am I right?
I thought it was. So why Jessica called a man a heifer this morning?
Because he's acting like his mama.
He was getting angry or something? That's what people that's evil, that heathens do. But anyway.
No, Maze. You got it all wrong.
People don't know the difference between a cow and a human.
Sometimes people will act like cows. And that man, that like male, this educated male, and I'm blanking on his name, in the first hour, or maybe it was the second hour. I took a note on it. I think it was the top of the second hour, actually. Tried to say, oh, Jesse, I know you have a lot of anger, but I really learned something from you. I learned not to be angry. Ryan from Queens, New York. And it didn't sound like he was from Queens. He sounded white. But anyways, yeah, he was acting like a heifer, for sure. Anyways, what did you want to call about?
Cows. I know the difference. That's when you don't have a brain power. And you can't prove to me that he was a cow, so why would you be called? But that's not why I call. I'm talking about this Democrat and this Republican Party. Now, you have these 99% of Republicans want to tell somebody what party they want to be in, and then you have the Democrats tell them what party they want to be in. So why can't you be in the party you want to? And then you got these Republicans getting upset with other Republicans calling them rhinos.
Opening the treasure chest.
Help me.
Help you? Okay, yeah. So, as you know, but you won't acknowledge, the platform of the Republican Party is for believing in God, supporting being about family, not supporting it financially, like with the government or anything like that. Smaller government, more freedom, more responsibility, all those things. That's what the Republican platform is, right? Morality. And then the Democrats are for, generally in practice, what they do is punish the innocent and defend the guilty. That tends to be what they do. You know, defend the rights of the guilty, right? And in some cases, they make up fake rights. Most cases, right? So you are free to choose whatever party you want to be on or no party. But it's a valid fight to like try to tell the blacks, hey, you're wrong. You should be a Republican if you really want to actually be about what's right. And, you know, most Republicans are phony, right? Because most people are evil at heart, even if they're well-meaning. Look at this guy. Look at this black NASCAR driver. That's so evil for him to be promoting Black Lives Matter.
How was he before he spoke out and said anything?
I don't know what he was like. I hadn't heard of him until now.
So now you're having a fit about him. I mean, y'all confuse y'all brain yourself. I mean, you come with these parties.
Well, I mean, you can say I'm having a fit about him, but he is evil. He is evil.
Say he's evil. And then the evil, you say it's all about family. Is it for family for you, as like the Bible said?
I don't know.
Or is it about family? You got to have 3 wives, and then you know, divorce, and you got 3 sets of children. Or you mean when you say family? Is that
an underhanded attack on President Trump?
You said it's about family.
Yeah.
Family gave say the difference of death do us part.
Right.
Yes, but so neither party is having that.
No, that's not true.
Oh, so that's what I'm
no,
saying.
the Republicans. Actually, the real Republicans are not for all this divorce and remarriage.
Where are they at? Name some.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
We can say
that's about all I know.
That's one we can name. Name some more.
James Anton Hake. I'm sure Joel is not for divorce and remarriage. I don't know if he's Republican.
And you're talking about IQ. The ones that
I don't talk about IQ. I don't know anything about it.
But those in the chat room, they don't have an IQ. It's so high, it's off the board.
Everybody has IQ.
Nothing that had nothing to do with everyday
Beautiful
life.
Confederate flag waving in the background of James's face. Thank you to Bub's Love. Right on, man.
And like I say, if the God y'all pretend y'all believe in walk down here today and then say what you want to hear, y'all will destroy him.
Thank you for calling, Maze. Appreciate hearing from you.
Have a good day. And tell me, stop. Come up with something that help the brain and stop with all of this. It don't make any sense. And stop trying to tell black people what they need to do. I've told you.
No, I'm not going to stop. You stop telling white people what they need to stop telling black people what to do.
What you say?
You stop telling white people what they need to stop saying.
I'm not telling them what to do.
Yeah, you are. You're telling me to stop saying something.
James, this is a suggestion. Stop trying to tell us what we need to do when you're not doing what you need to do yourself. And take that flag and wear it as much as you want to.
Thank you.
Be happy with
I got to go, Maze. Nice.
So you have a good one.
All right, you too. Let me get to Louie out of Idaho. Louie, what's up?
Hey, Maze, I am a Republican that does not believe in divorce and remarriage.
That's 3.
Okay, there you go. You got your majority right there. We're talking about the red states going purple.
Right.
I think Idaho is going purple because of California.
Yeah, a lot of Californians moving to Idaho.
I might have to vote.
Red means Republican, and in this case, right? And then blue means Democrat, and purple means going towards Democrat.
I might have to vote. My son calls me a rhino because I don't vote.
Oh.
But I don't vote because I don't have to because it's red. But I might have to vote now. You know.
I do recommend voting. Might as well, right?
Yeah, might as well.
And maybe you could be if you have the time and energy, maybe you could be a poll watcher to help keep election integrity.
What does that encounter? What is that?
Poll watching is look up election integrity project. There's different ones, but they want to prevent voter fraud, and there's a lot of shenanigans that go on. A lot of the people that run these elections, the local things, they're liberals, and not all of them are honest people who would refuse the temptation to cheat. So, yeah.
I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that a lot of men, a lot of women even that vote Trump and say they don't vote Trump.
Right. Yeah.
You follow me?
I believe it. I wish that they would get over their fear and stand up, because it's a shame to be afraid in your own country where you're supposed to be free. Anyways, Louie, I got to run. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you, man.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Take care. Matthew out of Los Angeles, first-time caller, 30 seconds. I'm sorry, but go.
Hey, good to talk to you. So I just wanted to get your thoughts real quick on how, with all these statues... and
Speak up for me.
everything
Stay
being
close to your phone, man.
Okay, with all these statues being torn down
Yeah.
that are actual quote-unquote white supremacist neo-Nazis, KKK, are nowhere to be found.
Right.
Could it be possible that Black Lives Matter is actually doing their work for them, separating the races?
Yeah, you know, it's...
Just what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fear-mongering. It's that scapegoating of white people that Joe from Phoenix, Arizona is blind to. He's more concerned about being stopped 3 times in the past than seeing the destruction of the country.
Them were white.
Oh, yeah, I
well,
forgot to
never-
ask him that part.
You should have stopped him and surprising that they didn't kill him too, since they're out there hunting black people. So
I don't think he's
thanks
that
for taking
off
my
the
call.
deep end, but yeah, appreciate you, Matthew. Call
Thanks,
again, man.
Bye.
Take care. Mo Betta stand up says, get Joel outro mix. Yeah. Asmodor says, Maze is a heifer. Mo Betta stand up says, diamond to the church plus Asmodor with us all. And Tabor gave a super chat, said, I just want to say thank you to Get a Job, turning so many men and women to Jussie, the truth and the light, a true fisher of men. God bless. Right on to Get a Job. Jib Jab says, wait for it. Hot Computer Smell gave a diamond on YouTube. Jib Jab says, Hake speech, not that fake speech. Right on. SD Rocket Man, do a barrel roll for lesbians. Barrel roll is what a helicopter does, right? Lord Nikon, actually, I don't know if, anyways. Lord Nikon says, Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben fired for the color of their skin. Yep. Very interesting point. Mrs. Butterworth is white and kept her job. Irony is unreal. Yeah. And you know, Aunt Jemima, the person who played it, was a slave, a former slave who got a job. Beautiful. I think Nancy Green. Anyways. A. Owen says, hi, Hake, is the Confederate flag racist? Please explain. Thanks. No, it is not racist. First of all, racism doesn't exist. Second of all, who cares? It's irrelevant. And the Confederate flag was about states' rights. And I guess that they wanted to preserve slavery, which was a reality of life at that point. Look at how hard people defend abortion today, which is even worse, way worse than slavery. Hot Computer Smell says, if you're pro-BLM, you're pro-LGBT do-re-mi. Adam Clark says, did you hear Lauren Southern is back? Disappeared for a year, and now she's back. Wow. Hope she's better than ever. Right on. And Catherine Payne gave us generous super chat. Thank you. I'm glad I highlighted because it doesn't scroll all the way down. So if I ever miss your super chats, YouTube has become kind of inferior, the website function. So sorry about that. Anyways, appreciate it, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JessieLeePeterson.com for Jessie's stuff. RebuildingTheMan.com/church for Church with Jussie Lee Peterson. Make sure you catch it. All right, guys, take care.